So this is the last section in Chapter 6. We're going to discuss the process of making laws, which I touched on a little bit in the last section, analyze the steps to lawmaking, and describe the role the president plays in lawmaking. That's what this whole section is about. It is Congress's job to pass bills. As I mentioned in the last video, it is the most important job of Congress. There's different kinds. You have private bills, which concern individual people or places, and then you have public bills, which apply to everybody. Congress also passes resolutions for formal statements expressing lawmakers' opinions or decisions. They tell why they come up with what they do. A joint resolution is passed by both houses of Congress. Joint just means together, so a joint resolution is passed by both House and Senate. This would include constitutional amendments, designate money for special purposes, and contact errors in bills that have already been passed, or correct errors in bills that have already been passed. Every bill starts with an idea. If someone's like, man, this is a problem that needs to be made into a law, that's an idea. That's how bills get started. Special interest groups, again, as I mentioned in a previous section, was organizations made up of people with special interests who try to influence government decisions. Usually they got money involved in a company or something, and they want to make sure that their investment is secure. And then you got people, like I mentioned before, like the NRA, that wants to try and influence gun-making law or gun laws to make sure that it doesn't interfere with their vision and what they want to do about promoting the right to have firearms. Bills can only be introduced in Congress by senators and members of the House of Representatives. Committees receive more bills than they can process. Public hearings can be made where experts discuss things trying to be passed, where experts discuss the specific issues. Standing committees can decide if something would go through or, quote, die in committee. They can pass it without changes, make changes, and send it on, replace it, ignore it, let it die, or kill it by a vote. So these are their options. They can just pass it, not make any changes. They can make some changes and then send it on. They can replace it with another bill that's similar. They can just ignore it and let it die. It means they just keep pushing it to the back of the paperwork and never deal with it. Or they can kill a bill by a vote. They can say, look, let's take a vote now. No, the noes have it. It's killed by a vote. Bills that pass committee are ready for consideration for the full House or Senate. And you need to go watch the I'm Just a Bill video. That Schoolhouse Rock, I'm Just a Bill, that I posted on Google Classroom. It's going to give you some information on how bills are passed into laws. But when they pass committee, they're ready for consideration by the full House or Senate. The Rules Committee decide which bill gets decided on first and which has top priority. When bills reach the floor, it will be debated for the pros and cons, where people on both sides will argue about why they want it to pass and why they don't. The House also allows amendments that are relevant to that bill. The Senate, however, allows riders or completely unrelated amendments. Sometimes they'll throw in something like if it's a law about, it's a law about taxes. They may throw something on there, that has nothing to do with that is just something that they, won't add it on. And then usually the other side of us will debate it a little bit. They can remove it or whatever. But they'll allow riders, which are amendments to that bill, it's completely unrelated. Senators attack things to bills that would try to get their amendments passed too. So, if they know an amendment's going to pass, they try to attach things to it that's completely unrelated that they just want to get passed real quick. In the House, the Rules Committee decides the terms for debates. There's a thing called a filibuster where you talk a bill to death. I posted a good video of Ted Cruz doing this. He talked for like an entire day, and literally it was like 25 hours or something that he talked nonstop. He read Green Eggs and Ham. He talked about Duck Dynasty. And there's a video on Google Classroom about that. Basically, you talk and talk and talk to the point where people's like, I don't even want to vote anymore. Let's just get out of here. Cloture, and he was doing that over the Affordable Care Act, or what Republicans refer to as Obamacare. Cloture is the Senate can end the filibuster if 3/5 of the members vote. They're like, we're tired of hearing this dude talk. Let's just vote and get it over with. And that would be cloture, where 3/5 of the members have to vote. And that would have both members of the Democrats and the Republicans. So it's usually, going to be bipartisan. There are multiple ways to vote on the bill. A voice vote, yay, nay, that's a voice vote. People vote out loud. A standing vote, where people stand to vote. Who's in favor? All opposed? And then they count the people. That is a standing vote. Roll call vote. They go through here. So-and-so, yes. So-and-so, no. Or they'll call their name, they'll come up there, and they'll actually cast a vote. So vote in an official record, that's kept on record, so you can see how people vote on certain things. And the Constitution requires the House and Senate to pass a bill. They meet to work out the details before voting to approve. After it passes both houses, it goes to the president. The first thing the president can do is sign it and pass it into law. The president can also veto or refuse to sign it. The president can say, nope, get out of here, or I'm not going to sign it. The president can ignore it for 10 days. At that point, if Congress is in session, it becomes a law. If not, it dies in a pocket veto, killing legislation by ignoring it. The next thing that can happen if the president vetoes it, it can be overturned by 2/3 of a vote. Again, they got to have the majority. Congress traditionally has only been able to overturn 1 in 5 vetoes. So when it goes to the president's desk, the president can sign it into law. He can veto it, send it back to the House and the Senate to rewrite it, go through the process again, and come back to them. Or, and at that point, if Congress can get 2/3 votes, they can overturn the veto. But only 1 in 5 vetoes actually get overturned. Or the president can ignore it 10 days, and if Congress is in session, it becomes a law. If they're not, it dies in a pocket veto. And this is the way the president can get by with not voting on it, but still voting on it. And that brings us to the end of this chapter, chapter 6. So I hope that after this, you know a lot more about the legislative branch of government.